All right, I have here Edge of Eternity's Premier Draft after a lackluster day yesterday. Did I think 4 drafts, and best record was 4-3. Second best record was 3-3. Did one of the win-a-boxes, bricked that. So, shooting for a better showing today. So, how are we going to do that? Well, Tropic Battlecruiser is it's a card I had some success with early in the set. You know, we're sort of down on it. I mean, 8 to crew is a lot, but if you crew it, you have a 3/10 flying death touch that makes them discard a card every turn. Problem is, by the time you crew it, a lot of times people don't have much left in their hand. If your opponent's emptied their hand and then you're screwing around getting that ready, it's not that great. But at any rate, there's a Mouth of the Storm in this pack, which I think rates to be a little bit better. Blue is a color I want to be playing if possible. Mouth of the Storm is a good reason to be in blue. So we're going to keep in mind that we passed the blue-black land, and we'll see if that comes back to us. Okay, so nothing to write home about in blue here. Okay, middle of the road cards. We have a Monolist, we have a Trooper, we have a Rammer, we have a Broodguard Elite. Devastating Onslaught is certainly a card that can come out of nowhere and win some games. I haven't played blue-red in a little while, and overall I kind of like it, so I think we're going to go ahead and take that and see where this takes us. I mean, I'm not necessarily locking into blue-red after just 2 picks, but alright, so we've got a depressurize in this pack, as well as a Selfcraft Mechan. I like the Ilvoy Infiltrator. Melded Moxite is alright as well. Steel Swarm Operator has been underwhelming. I thought it would be a lot better than it actually is ended up being. I think there are a couple of good picks here, particularly there's a couple of reasonable blue cards. Survey Mechan's not bad. There's Depressurize and Focus Fire, both decent cards. I like the Infiltrator though, and I feel like it is the type of card that we can definitely make work in blue-red. You know, I saw the Harrier first, and I was like, okay, that's not a bad pickup at all. It's easy to double spell with the Harrier, but there is an Orbital Plunge in this pack. Excuse me, I think I need to drink some more of this coffee. But there's an Orbital Plunge in this pack, so we are going to go ahead and take that. I guess just followed up with another Orbital Plunge. This is a pretty solid pack. It's got to use Social Engineering in it. Moxite is fine. Orbital Plunge is obviously good, and then there's some reasonable green dorks as well. But happy to have a second Orbital Plunge. Okay, so following it up with nothing like too terribly exciting, but we already have the Infiltrator, and I think with that in mind, yes, we've taken some very expensive cards, but with that in mind, we can start trying to draft a little bit of a cheaper Izzet theme, try to 2-spell, and get the Ilvoy dudes going. And we'll see how that turns out. You know, I say that I'm definitely not taking the Torpedo here. Cloud Sculpt Technician is okay. It's not too hard to have an artifact in play when you're playing red and blue for that matter. And a 3-mana 2/4 flyer is okay. None of this really is very exciting. There's a pretty good chance that we don't want a Litho Breaking. This is one of those rares that I'm never entirely sure what it does. I mean, okay, so you can make every time you make a lander, it you know, makes a token that's your enchanted creature, but I'm gonna take Litho Breaking, not expecting to actually play it, but yeah, Mechan Shieldmate is a card it's been better than I expected it to be. I don't usually like this sort of card, but a 2-drop is good, considering I said that, you know, I'm gonna aim to have some cheap spells, try to 2-spell. Sky Warden is probably not making the deck, but this Cryologist isn't either. I mean, warping, you know, being able to warp to 2-spell is certainly, you know, helpful, but when the warp effect isn't really that exciting, I'm not gonna use a card just for that. Not playing any of these things. I'm almost positively not playing the torpedo. I've never actually put one of those in my deck, but you know, you never know. So 2 decent rare spacecrafts. A synthesizer lab ship I'm happy to take. It's a 1 mana card. We want some cheaper cards. It is a reasonable card on its own. Lumen class frigate is as well one of the better spacecrafts. So notably, there's a station monitor here, but I don't think we're going to end up splashing that. It would be nice to see the Mechanozoa, the Pinnacle Kill Ship, or the Plasma Bolt come around. And I don't think it's unreasonable to expect to see one of those cards come back. Any of the 3 I'd be happy with on the wheel. But yeah, I think this is pretty easy. Lab ship snag here. Grav kill just in the middle of the screen looking at me. Okay, so there's a Weftstalker Ardent, which is a card that I don't mind, and also being able to warp it for 1 is good. It also has some synergy with the Onslaught, right? You have this in play and make 4 tokens or whatever. Then again, if you're making 4 tokens, that 4 damage is probably not the deciding factor. The only question is if I want to take the Starforge. Starforge just gives you something to do with your mana late in the game, and you can kind of stick it in the deck for free, especially we're playing a 2-color deck with no heavy color requirements on either side. Excuse me, sorry. So yeah, I'm thinking we're just gonna take the card that goes in the deck for free. Okay, Cryo Shatter is a card I'm very happy to see. Cheap 1 mana spell, removal spell. Good stuff. I would like to get more Ilvoy dudes. I would like to get more cards that care about double spelling if we are going to sort of aim to double spell frequently. I'm surprised I haven't seen any more of them. They don't usually go that highly. They're not like, anything fantastic. This is one of those cards that, at first glance, I thought it was very, very good, maybe even a bomb. It's really not that impressive. Artifact spells, we have 2. In a lot of formats, even a 3/4 flyer for 5 is like, not the worst thing in the world. But anyway, I don't know if I really want either of these. I guess I'm going to take the Red Tiger Mechan. I wouldn't mind maybe 1 Lost in Space in the deck, but it's not a card I'm very excited by. Do we have anything? So the Microsizer, right? We have the Ilvoy Operative, which already has a can't be blocked ability that hopefully we can get rolling. The Microsizer is obviously good on it, but that's about it. Microsizer is good when you have a lot of 1/1 counters, so that you can give something a low base power and toughness, but have it still be a bigger creature. Bombard is one of the less great removal spells, but I don't mind playing 1 of them. As far as what we have here, I really don't see myself playing 2 Red Tiger Mechans, but we also don't have any purpose for the Bygone Colossus. I can say definitively I'm not playing 2 Red Tiger Mechans, barring, just being short on playable. So I'm going to take the Bygone Colossus on the off chance that we somehow run into some sort of synergy with that. Sort of a late emergency eject. We'll take this other Cloud Sculpt Technician. Notably, these things are looking like 1/4s in our deck, right? We don't really have any artifacts. The Mechan Shieldmate also notably not very good. Scour for Scrap, not very good for the same reason. Nebula Dragon is a good card. I do kind of want 1 of them, even though we were kind of going with this cheaper Ilvoy theme, but we never picked up any more Ilvoy creatures other than those 2. So I'm just going to take the better card. Full Bore is something I probably won't play, but it is a cheap spell if we need it. Okay. It's a late Ilvoy Operative. There's also a Weftstalker Ardent. That came back around. So notably nothing in that first pack that we were hoping. There was a Plasma Bolt. There was a Kill Ship. There's a couple other things that we were hoping coming around, and they didn't. I think either one of the Ardent or the Ilvoy Operative were reasonable picks there. So This is kind of disappointing because this is a deck that's just not very excited about Self-Craft Mechan. It's also not excited about Mechan Assembler. I mean, again, we are sitting at 3 artifacts at this point. Which is really surprising for black or blue-red. Nebula Dragon and Devastating Onslaught go very well together if you live long enough. And so I think I might actually end up playing a second Nebula Dragon. We're kind of like... We need this pack to go well. So, you know, there's a Manon here, which is like obviously a gold color or gold card in our colors, but we don't really have the artifacts to do anything with it. We do have the Starforge, which makes artifacts, so that's neat and all. I'm happy to take a second lab ship here. I wouldn't mind a scrapper, wouldn't mind a turbo drone. You know, we are sort of missing the cheap red artifact creatures that you would kind of expect to have in a deck like this. Wow. Okay, so now we're talking, right? Psionicist definitely goes with the 2-spell theme. Starwinder is a card that I love. But we already have our top end. We want cheaper things. We want to be able to 2-spell. Psionicist is just better in our deck. And notably, we don't really have things that are going to get in that often. You know, like we're going to warp the Starwinder in and, I don't know, attack with, what, an Ilvoy Operative. So, Psionicist is a pretty good pickup there. Mental Modulation is a good thing in this sort of deck. What else we have? Landseeker. So let's see, are any of these cards getting cut? These Cloud Sculpt Technicians, I'd really rather not play them if possible. So if that's the case, I think I do want some cheaper stuff. Mental Modulation is an easy, you know, it's got the 2-spell synergy. It's sort of the point of that card. Mechanozoa. Don't mind one of them. I mean, I know I said that we kind of have the top end filled out, but Mechanozoa is a reasonable card to play for 3 mana as well. If that is another Infiltrator, I'm happy to take that. I would have loved to have seen another Cryo Shatter or Plasma Bolt, like one more 1 mana removal, make it easier to 2-spell on turns after we play these Ilvoy dudes. Okay. Starbreach Whale is another card that helps us to spell and then does something later on, like Mechanozoa. I don't think we want the kill ship. I'm going to be optimistic and cut the 2 Cloud Sculpt Technicians and hope that we can fill out our deck from there. Take the Turbo Drone. Yep. Not much more to say about that. Not playing any of these. Add to my Litho Breaking connection, I suppose. Okay, Scrapper came back, which is good, because 1 mana play helps with the 2-spelling theme. Our 2-spelling theme, which is just these 4 creatures, but they're fine. Alright, so this Warden, we're going to put the other Warden in the sideboard so they can hang out together, because I believe this is our deck here. Probably an 8-8 split between mountains and islands, and the deck builder agrees with me. I think everything that I put in the sideboard during draft, I put in the sideboard with a pretty good reason. We did pick up a couple more artifacts, but the Cloud Sculpt Technicians still aren't better. Maybe better than a Frontline War Rager. Maybe, but we're going to be able to attack with 2 creatures a decent amount, I think, so... Yep, let's run this the way it is. Alright, 2 synthesizer lab ships, huh? So that's obviously a little awkward. We do have the Starbreach Whale on 2 to get started on stationing one of these. And I guess we could always have one man up the other one. And they can just sort of man up each other. Alright, so you got me. Okay, Cryo Shatter's a reasonable draw. Alright, let's go ahead and warp this in. Alrighty, so we already have 2 lands in hand. A Shieldmate would be welcome because next turn we can Lab Ship and Shieldmate. And then I think I'm okay with drawing the 5th land, right? Because we've got a 7-drop in hand. It's okay. Cool. Yeah, so next turn... Next turn we can play Lab Ship and Shieldmate. We can get this Lab Ship up to 3, and then it can make the other Lab Ship a 2/2 flyer. And then the question is, do we start, like, you know, using them to station each other now that they played a 2/2 flyer of their own? I do believe the answer to that is yes. Do this. Try to do this. Do that with that. Alright, you guys station each other, no attacks. You station there, you station there. Alright, cool. So these are both on 5. So we can get one of them up to a 4/4 next turn, and then since they get vigilance, we can attack and then use it to get the other one, right? Because this will be... Yeah, so this will be 3, and then we'll make that a 2/2. That'll take it to 10, which is more than enough. Then we can attack with this and use it to station the other. This is all assuming that our opponent just doesn't do anything. Okay. So they're blue-white, and they have a bunch of mana up. So obviously they may do something. Oh, we don't actually get to attack, right? Because we make it a 2/2 going into combat. Right. So I don't think I'm going to attack then, because instead... Wait. Do this to that. Do this to that. Wait, why did that not become... Okay, now I'm confused. Why is this not a 4/4? I guess... Huh. I guess the effect supersedes... Yeah, it would supersede a space power and toughness. Okay. Yeah, guess I didn't really consider how that would work. Alright. Well, next turn we have 2 4/4 flying vigilance dudes. That's pretty cool. And our opponent just did nothing last turn. So blue-white passing with 4 mana up's a little scary. Oh, okay, so they have Banishing Light. They get to 2 spell there. That's nice. Alrighty, so there's Orbital Plunge. I think we're going to go ahead and... that. We'll make that a 2/2. We'll attack. We can Starbreach Whale. We want to draw some more lands. 2 more lands is perfect. I wouldn't have minded a second red source, of course, but Nebula Dragon has a lot of really good targets for when it enters the battlefield. Our opponent's down to 2 cards in hand. Our board state is favorable to us. And we've got 3 removal spells in our hand, so life is good. Okay. Did some tapping and untapping and then auto-tapped their station monitor. Interesting. So we don't have any instant speed removal, notably. So if they have some sort of, you know, if they've focus fire, there's not really anything we were going to be able to do here. Or the... Oh, right, they have the tapper. Okay, yeah, of course. I'm not attacking with the Shieldmate, but I am going to attack with the Starbreach Well. And I'm going to Orbital Plunge one of their station monitors. Okay, because I'm not really too keen on them being able to double spell and then get multiple chump blockers out. I'm not going to like cryo shatter the starport security though, so I'm going to save that for another threat. Next turn we'll be able to Nebula Dragon it, which hopefully should be sufficient. Alright, so there's a reasonable chance they get to 2 spell here. Or maybe not. Okay, if they... I'm very surprised to see them attack with the station monitor, but we're gonna snap block. Okay, so they either already had focus fire. Yeah, because they couldn't have cast it last turn, right? Because they didn't have mana. All right, not a problem. So they don't have anything with 1/1 counters on it, right? So they can't use their tapper. I'm wondering if I should leave the Starbreach Whale back. So I'm going to kill the Starport security because I need to kill their tapper. So they're going to have 6. And we're going to have 2 blockers if we attack with the Starbreach Whale, which leaves 4 damage. I'm not too afraid of that. I don't think. Yeah, so let's go ahead and attack with both. Kill the tapper. And continue to be in pretty good shape here. Alright, even better shape when they scoop. So 1-0 off to a good start. The double lab ship looking pretty good that game. Okay, yeah. I think we built the deck as good as we could based on what we drafted, so. It's interesting, you know, didn't really consider the interaction with the synthesizer lab ship, that if I use one to make the other one a 2/2 and then station the other one to the point where it should be a 4/4, of course it would still be a 2/2 because I have adjusted its base power and toughness. I sat there, stared at them for a couple moments wondering what happened. Alright. So this hand is very awkward because our only early play is lab ship. And then, like, Cryo Shatter, and we'd have some other removal if we drew lands, but, like, we would have no creatures, no pressure, we couldn't crew the lab ship. So it's either we draw, you know, spells we can't play that we want to do stuff with, or we draw lands and then we have, you know, nothing but removal in hand. So I think I'm going to take a mulligan here. Alright, this one, obviously not that exciting. The question is which 7-drop we keep. Probably the Mouth of the Storm. Yeah, this hand not any better. Although if we run off another land, we'll have 2 orbital plunges, but bombard is okay, I guess. The question is if we want to bombard the, you know, usually bolt the bird, right? But Steel Swarm Operator doesn't always get any use. Okay. Okay, yeah, wow, it did this time. That's pretty good. That is a good bombard target, though, once they pour some more tapping into the lab ship. Which, of course, with Nanoform Sentinel. There we go, good. Yeah, I don't see me blocking the Sentinel with the Operative, so I think we're attacking. And then they're probably going to crew up the lab ship, and then we're going to bombard it. I need to draw another land. If we draw another land, we are in reasonable shape. Codecracker Hound, huh? I'm going to assume they took a land. No? I briefly considered bombarding the Codecracker Hound, right? but I'm confused. I guess they're playing around Bombard here. Oh wait, this actually. Oh. Huh. Give another play. Interesting. Oh jeez. Alright, so they are playing around Bombard, but I'm just going to bombard the target, the Titan. Needs to draw land so that we can orbital plunge the lab ship, and then we are in okay shape. There's our land. Given the way things look now, I am going to leave the operative back, because now I am more likely to block the Sentinel. And maybe they don't want to trade off the Sentinel for the operative, so maybe just leaving it back will keep them from attacking with it. Alright, pitching a land. So presumably they have another land in hand to play for the turn. If they didn't already play their land, they may have. Excuse me. Alright, well. They're offering the trade, I'm gonna take it, and then if they just... Ooh, gross. Well, they're only on 4 lands. They're still not manning up the lab ship. They're really playing around removal there. Just based on the way the board state is here, I think I have to kill the engineer, even though they only have 4 lands, so they were nowhere near being able to use it. If I don't plunge the engineer, I'm not doing anything, and I kind of need the lander token, so that's where we're at with that. So the fact that they've been trying to protect the lab ship so much makes me feel like they didn't have, like, you know, too many other creatures in their hands. It's devastating. Onslaught is looking a little awkward, but if there's any world where we live to 7 mana, I think we just eat all that. If there's any world where we live to 7 mana, and then we can Mouth of the Storm and then Onslaught the next turn, then we're okay. But how do we even do that? We got an Orbital Plunge, lab ship here, and then we're just dead. Yeah. Alright, and there's really no way to even bluff something that's going to cause them to not attack, so you know what? We're just gonna... we're gonna play this. We do this. X is 2. We're gonna make 2 Slag Drill Scrappers, and we're gonna get in there. And then we're gonna concede. Alright. Maybe I should have kept the first hand. I mean, we mulliganed into a hand that was awkward for the same exact reason, so... So looking at our deck, I mean, we really need one of these Illvoid dudes, Psionicist, Shieldmate. We need one of these 2 or 3 drops in our opening hand, or else we're going to have some awkward draws. So maybe a hand that's like, you know, 2 lands and then nothing but 3 and 4 mana removal. Maybe I don't have the ability to mulligan that with this deck. Yeah. So we are on the draw. As long as we draw a blue source, this hand is reasonable. And maybe I'm just, I might be acting based off the fact that I mulliganed into an equally awkward hand last game, when I felt like I was like doing the right thing by mulliganing and not being greedy. Okay. They're developing their mana quite nicely here. Alright, there's the island. So our greed paid off. We can bombard their next play, or we can bombard Jean. I do believe we will be bombarding Tanic. Alright, we ran off double island, which is lovely. So next turn we can, like, double spell, because we can Surveil with the Starbreach Whale, and we can cast Mental Modulation. We can even do that before playing a land, so we can bluff not having any other lands in hand. It looks like they maybe thought about killing my operative for a second there. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna play the shield mate instead of mental modulation here. Sure, I'm gonna keep that. The question is the order I'm gonna keep it, because if I keep it in this order, I miss a land drop. But if I don't keep it in this order, I miss a land drop the next turn, so it doesn't really make a difference. I feel like they have diplomatic relations or something that they want to use on the Envoy operative. Yeah. So putting the land on top would have let us cast Starbreach Whale this turn. But instead we are going to operative and mental modulation, I think, just to draw a card. And make the operative a 3/2 right away. Okay. And then we don't actually miss a land drop, right? Because we're drawing a card off mental modulation. We're just not making use of it. Alright, so next turn we can Starbreach Whale. We're not going to get to 2-spell anytime in the near future. Here's our graveyard. So we're probably going to have to Mechanizoa the Scrap Bot, or else we don't get to attack with the operative, but I think it makes sense to just play the whale first, get this thing on the board. We'll take the Orbital Plunge and we'll take the land, because we've got 2 6s and a 5 in our hand. So. Glacial Godmaws. If ever there were a finer orbital plunge target. Oh, okay. Right, so they can crack the lander. So I'm going to trade off the shield mate for the Scrap Bot. And now they don't have to crack their lander. They don't want to. Yeah. So if they have Biosynthetic Burst, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm so dumb. They can just crack their lander. Right. Whoops. So now it's out of orbital plunge range. That was a little fucky wucky on my part there. Although there is some value in getting the land out of their hands now, or not out of their hand, but out of play. Okay. All right. No blocks. Boy. So we can Mechanizoa. Tap down the Godmaw. I guess I should have attacked first. And I'm just going to leave back the one blocker, because if they have removal, I'm dead. Yeah, so I can block one of the double strikers with the Mechanizoa. Okay. I think I'll choose to block the one that does not have Death Touch. Okay, well, now I just won't block anything. If I draw a land, and I can Mouth of the Storm... Well, that's not a land. So had I drawn a land and I could Mouth of the Storm, we might have been okay. Everything is lethal except for Jean. Oh, and they're gonna get 2 more. Right. Right. So we're gonna pass with all our mana open. We're gonna see what they do. They might be afraid to attack with everything. Probably not. Yeah, especially since they drew a land. Yeah. So looking back, what I needed to do was block in a way that they had to crack the lander on their turn, which was blocking with the blocking with the Starbreach Whale on their Dauntless Scrapper, and then they have to crack the lander on their turn, and then I can Orbital Plunge on my turn, and that gets the Godmaw dead, and then maybe we win the game, maybe we don't, because it turns out they had a Farming Hive pool to play after that, so that would have been difficult to beat. But definitely a mistake there. It's funny because I was thinking about the lander being able to pump everything on their turn, but for whatever reason on my turn, I was just like, oh, well, surely they can't use it then. All right, let's see how far we can get trying to avoid that third loss. All right, this is a more reasonable of a hand. We have 3 7-drops in our deck, which is maybe a little heavy. And we have the Mechanozoa, but we keep having these opening hands that have like multiple 6 and 7 drops on them. It's a little rough. And notably, we're not playing, you know, we're not playing the second Nebula Dragon over anything. I mean, I guess it could be a Cloud Sculpt Technician. I don't know about that though. Alright. Are they thinking about Plasma Bolting the Shieldmate? Because that is... okay. I think they may have been considering it. I would be okay with that. Phenomenon. I think I'll go ahead and plunge that, and then we can attack with the Shieldmate. It's just a good value creature that I don't mind getting off the board. We have the game won if we can get to 7 mana. Which we have 5, there's 6 with the lander, and our opponent hasn't like developed the board, so I think we're in okay shape. They are getting the Manon back. I don't think I want to Cryo Shed or anything yet. Like, I don't want to Cryo Shatter the Interceptor mech, and I kind of want to wait until once they get the... okay, yeah, that's fine. Kind of knew that was in their hand, and I guess that does activate Void for them, A. Alright, I'm just going to play the Operator. And then crack the lander, and then this sort of incentivizes them to leave a blocker back, right? Like, in case I can't double spell. And then I can just Cryo Shatter that blocker, and then they have to chump the Infiltrator. Unless they're killing it? No, they're playing a Starbreach Whale, okay. So that isn't really any value from the Manon or anything like that. Okay, they pitch 2 lands. Okay, so presumably they're going to be on gas from here on out. Alright, the question is if we draw a 7th land here or not. It's pretty sweet, so now we get to Nebula Dragon the Manon. Get him with the Infiltrator. And then next turn, we make 3 copies of the Nebula Dragon. Which hits them for 12, and then we attack for another 16 in the air. They are dead. They are dead. Alright, so just for style points, we'll put this on this. Do X is 3. We'll make 3 Nebula Dragons. Dome, dome, dome. Alright, cool. That is how that's supposed to go. You know, I'm not, like, I don't feel great about that win, because, like, our opponent didn't do much, right? They did Plasma Bolt, a 3/2 defender. They played the Manon a couple of times, but we were kind of left to our own devices to just get up to 7 mana and then do what we wanted to do. Drawing that 7th land there was pretty clutch. I think we probably had maybe, you know, 3 draw steps to draw it before, and we were really under too much pressure from our opponent. And we were at that point, we were either going to draw land or draw a spell that we could cast, so either one would have been fine. I am sort of wondering if maybe we are greedy with the Mechanizoa and 3 7-drops, so a 6 and 3 7s. That is a bit much, considering we don't have a ton of ramp. The 2 orbital plunges, and the I think we have a land seeker as well. I don't remember. I actually don't remember if we got a land seeker into the deck or not. All right, this is the kind of hand that, you know, I'm looking to see. So we're not doing anything until 3, but excuse me. Then we get to Infiltrator, and then on 4 we can play the Scion Assist into a Bombard, which is pretty sweet. Oh, and we get to play Envoy Operator on 2. That was a very good draw. Very, very, very good draw. Our opponent's not doing anything. I guess I could have played a land first, just in case I needed to Bombard. There's no white or green flash, though. Okay. Alright, so, oh, wow, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead with sort of plan A here. Bombard this. They're going to get a 1/1 out of it. But now we get to attack with both of these, hopefully drawing a land because we have our win condition in hand at this point. Now we just need to draw lands. Orbital Plunge is fine. Unfortunately, there's no card that we can draw that we could plunge and then cast from the Scion Assist, because, like, if you have a Wormtail Sweeper, right, you can tap out and then play the Wormtail Sweeper for free. We do not in this case, but we do get the Orbital Plunge, the Crasher, attack with the team. I feel like they probably chumped the Infiltrator with the token. No, they're okay with me drawing a card. Alright, little unfortunate. If we drew a mountain there, we could have played the War Rager, which would have been nice. We are now, again, sitting on all of our big cards in hand. I don't know if that's the one you wanted to take, my friend. I mean, obviously, I know what's in my hand. Alright, this is pretty gross. This is pretty... Oh, we have a focus fire here? No? Okay. Yeah, so now this thing gets to tick up. We get to draw a card. A land? No? Not a land? Okay. Guess I'm not going to complain too much. Ooh. Can we win anyway? So they are at 7 effectively with 2 blockers. So they block my 2 biggest dudes, but I can make 1 copy of this, of one of these. So that's 3, 4, 5. No. We can play the land ship and then Onslaught make 2 make 1 copy of the Infiltrator and attack with both of those. And the Operative would be a 5/4. Yeah. Alright. I think that's what we're doing. So X is 1. You copy that. Okay. So those are both getting in. So that takes them in 1 and we draw 2 cards. The question is, do we attack with the Operative? I'm really not sure. If I attack with the Operative, that probably trades with the Sunborn. Yeah, that's got to be right? I was thinking about not... Really, are they going to keep the Sunborn? So then the other question was, do I attack with the other dudes, which gives them an opportunity to eat the other dudes, and I keep the Operative, which apparently would have been what they do. Okay, so I'm a little surprised they did that in such a way that they don't gain any life. And I'm also free to just do this. I could have done this before and gotten a little more value. I could have made the lander a creature and then stationed with that too. I'm really surprised they didn't block with the Sunborn, because now they're in a situation where, like, yes, they can attack and they go up to 5, but then they don't have the Sunborn as a blocker. And if they don't attack and I just make the Infiltrator unblockable, then they're dead. Which, I mean, I can double spell, so it's going to depend on what they do, but if they tap out and then I can just double spell and attack with the Infiltrator. Okay, so they are attacking. And then do they have like a, was it Beyond the Quiet or whatever? All Fates Stalker on the operative. Okay. So that has to block the War Rager. So I get my operative back. So I think I just make the land ship. If I just screw the man ship, that's 5, or land ship rather, that's 5. And then I attack with the land ship and the Infiltrator, but they can block the Infiltrator unless I double spell. So maybe that was the plan, thinking I wouldn't double spell. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna keep lands on top so that we can play our 7 drops. Yeah, I don't need the turbo drone. Through this. Through here. We get to make the lander token a 2/2 flyer as well. We're attack here, here, here. If they have a removal spell for the land ship, they're not dead, or the lab ship rather, they're not dead. Biosynthetic burst. Oh goodness. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna scrap her away the lab ship so they don't get to gain 5. That is unfortunate though. Okay, so next turn we get to play Mouth of the Storm. They are hanging in there. That Exalted Sunborn. It's a very good card. Okay. I'm glad I had the Scrapper in play, because if they were already at 7 and then just went up to 12, this would be a lot rougher. Dockworker Drone, alright. Alright, so notably we are not double spelling, and we are not playing an artifact. Can we win if we... So that's 4. But again, not playing an artifact, so we can't attack with that. So they have 2 blockers. So no, that doesn't do anything for us. We can Nebula Dragon and get our Ilvoy Operative back. That takes out a blocker. They could still block there. They go to 5. And we draw a card. And they're going to go up to 10. Alright, so I think that's it. I think we Nebula... So the... Nebula Dragging the Stalker... Nebula Dragoning the Stalker seems pretty good, but like also having a Lightning Bolt in hand seems pretty good. Alright, so with that in mind, we'll Mouth of the Storm instead. Back and forth on that one. Now we can attack with everything, and they have to block... Okay. Okay, and then they're probably going to put the 1/1 counter on the Exalted Sunborn. And that's going to make it a 3/7, so now the Mouth of the Storm doesn't eat it, which is a little annoying. Man. We end up losing this game because of the Sunborn. That's going to be wild. And then it's going to make me wonder about the devastating onslaught on the infiltrator play. Because obviously if we had the onslaught now, we could just win the game with it, but... Okay, so they left that back. So they're effectively at 3, but if they block with the Sunborn, they go up to 9. So I think this turn I'm going to Starbreach Whale, and I'm going to plan to sacrifice the lander to the Scrapper. So playing something else that's unblockable when we double spell is good, and then the Red Tiger Mechan, the next turn we can Nebula Dragon and Red Tiger Mechan, and then we can attack with the Shieldmate and both of the Ilvoy Infiltrators will be unblockable. That seems reasonable. And then I think we just don't attack with anything here. We say go. So next turn, we got what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If... Yeah, we can't shuffle, we can't use the lander for land, because then we shuffle everything away. So we're gonna have 9, so we can't... I should have done it the other way around, right? Because we could have Nebula Dragon and warped in the Mechan. Man. They just keep making that Sunborn bigger and bigger. We have nothing in our deck that, like... Because we're not playing Lost in Space. So we have nothing to get rid of that. And now they've also gotten their All-Fade Stalker out of Nebula Dragon range, which is even worse. But if they keep not attacking with the Sunborn, which is sort of hard for them to attack with the Sunborn, right? Because we have the double block. I forgot to... Oh my goodness, I forgot to sack the lander. I was busy thinking about this turn. Shoot. It's not the end of the world, because we can still do all the things that we were going to do. It's just our Scrapper is tapped. Just to be clear, they're not just dead here, right? Because, again, now they're at 13. Block there. 3 blockers. They're at 13. They're blocking that, that, and that. Yeah, they're not dead. But... Four, 8, 9. So if we could double spell, that's going to take them... So we have lethal if we can hit with both the Infiltrators and Nebula Dragon them, but we have to be able to double spell in order to do that, and as things stand, we are only going to have... We are going to have 10 mana, actually. Right? 4, 5... Yeah, we'll have 10 mana, so we can... Oh my god. Tell me you don't have a land. Okay, if they don't attack with the Sunborn... Oh my god, they have a fucking land. This... I'm so incredibly sick of this card. I mean, if they don't attack with the Sunborn, they're still dead. They have to ask themselves if they want to trade the Sunborn for the Mouth of the Storm. And they'd go to 13. Okay, so they're dead. All right, they have nothing on board that I'm missing. Even if they crew that, they're still dead. Okay. No blocks. Yikes. So if I was them, do I attack with the Sunborn? I don't know. Alright, 5, 9, 10. We can Mechanizoa, warp that in, and then Nebula Dragon hit them, and then we can attack. Yeah, alright. Ooh, man, what a game. I thought this was over a long time ago. Ooh, boy. Alright. That was a good game. Still, I'll have to think back on that devastating onslaughting the Ilvoy operatives. Whew. And then I thought that was just going to be a quick, you know, lose 2 games in a row to Glacial Godmaw. And join the ranks of people very, very tired of losing to that card. But alright, 3 and 3. Let's see if we can get something going. Alright, we are on the play. A reasonable hand. So our deck was doing the things it wanted to do last game. You know, notably, we again have a 6 and 7 in our hand, but you know, we played Ilvoy dudes, and then I guess we should probably get him for 3, huh? Played Ilvoy dudes and then double spelled like a bunch of turns in a row. We did everything according to plan, which was good. Still very close. Big flying life leaking angels in limited tend to be pretty good. Alright, so depending on the opponent's plan here, we do possibly... Yeah, okay, we have an angle where we Mechanizoa and tap the Biomech and Engineer, and then we get to attack and draw a card. The question is that better than just getting the Mechan on the battlefield and getting in there for 3? Like, obviously, drawing a card is sweet. I like to draw cards. However, opponent's already on... Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna get the Mechan out on the battlefield. We're gonna attack. Okay. There was always a chance that they forgot to block with the Engineer, or thought they couldn't, or you know, some silliness. And they're probably not attacking back. And actually, if this invites them to attack back with the Engineer, and then we can tap the Wayfarer, that would be great. Or instead of attacking, they can station up the Scoutlander. Okay, they're just not, though. Alright, so... with that in mind... Alright, so given that we drew another Infiltrator, it's tempting to, like, wait another turn and double spell next turn. Play, like, the Infiltrator and the Mechanizoa. But I'm just going to run out the Infiltrator and, sort of hope that maybe we draw a 3-mana spell next turn and we can double spell with 2 Infiltrators. That's even better than double spelling with 1. So they are sort of in a spot here where trading was good because I don't want them to be able to station their Scoutlander. Oh, Glacial Godmaw, you are hilarious. Okay, well, we drew a 3-mana spell. So we are going to try our hardest here. We are going to tap down the Godmaw. We are going to play this. We are going to attack and draw 2 cards. One of them is hopefully a land. So next turn we can Mouth of the Storm, or we can Mechanozoa and Cryo Shatter. They can now start activating their Biomechan Engineer. You're fucking kidding me. Okay. All right, so they may be stripping their deck of lands at this. Oh wait, this is gonna get hazed off of that, right? Yeah. It. Oh, Magic the Gathering. I will go to -34. All right. 3-3 after some severe Glacial Godmaw trauma. So, our deck was okay. If I could do it all again. So I don't know if this is just sort of feels like confirmation bias that so 1 out of 10 cards in our deck was a 6 or 7 drop. Of those 6 games, I feel like 3 or 4 of our opening hands had like 2 of those in our hand, and that is statistically improbable, right? I don't think that this was greedy, especially because we didn't have a ton of 3. We tons of stuff. I mean, this card goes over here too. To be fair, still now that's 1 out of 8 cards. But yeah, when your opponents play Glacial Godmaw every game, what are you gonna do? All right, good games until the next one.